The Long Walk is out in theaters, directed by Francis Lawrence, same guy who did all the Hunger Games movies, based on a novel by Stephen King, written under his Richard Bachman pseudonym, starring Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, Mark Hamill, and Judy Greer. The story takes place in a dystopian, alternate 1970s America. Each year, young boys and men volunteer to be randomly selected to take part in the so-called Long Walk, which is a competition where 50 of them walk along a road, and if you fall below a certain speed, you get some warnings, then you're shot dead. If you run away or stop, you're shot dead. They walk until there's only one survivor left who wins a great prize. So I actually read this book a good while ago, and among Stephen King's works, this is one of my favorites. It's fairly simple, but very well executed in terms of its premise and tension, well written, good characterization. And I was curious how well it would be adapted, and I'm happy to say I'm satisfied with the movie version. The Long Walk is a very solid film, carried by primarily interpersonal relationships of its characters, as well as strong performances, particularly by Hoffman and Johnson, who continues to be a scene stealer after his impressive turn in Alien Romulus. Johnson has this incredible screen presence, and his character, Pete McVrees, is pretty much the heart and soul of the movie. I loved the very simple fact that, and this is another point, that throughout the movie the characters are obviously walking at a brisk pace, which also means that the camera has to keep moving to keep pace with them. And this adds to the subconscious sense of dynamism and improves the pacing of the film, meaning it is never boring. Plus, it's also, I don't think it's something you consciously think about when you're watching the movie as a regular audience member, but as someone who's interested in the process of filmmaking, this must have taken some additional planning and logistics in terms of keeping everything moving all the time. I liked the bleak, depressing atmosphere of the film and the themes of seeking hope and light in the darkest of places. There are some notable changes between the book and the film, apparently accepted by King himself. Most notably, the pace of walking is reduced to 3 miles per hour from 4 in the book. King himself admitted that he made a mistake. He overestimated that originally, and it was an unrealistic pace. I think the journey takes more days than it did in the book, but I may be misremembering it. In any case, to me, this also seems a bit like an exaggeration, and in reality, I would expect all these people to fall off faster. There is a smaller number of participants, 50 instead of 100, and most importantly, the ending is unexpectedly different. I won't say what happens, but it was very shocking to me as a book reader. And crucially, it didn't feel like a change for the sake of change. It makes thematic sense and feels very much within the spirit of the story overall. I'm not quite sure which version of the ending I prefer at the end of the day, but both make sense to me. So I liked it all in all. I think it's engaging, tense, well performed, and technically impressive, again in the sense that everything is constantly on the move. Solid film.